Hey, oh,
Okay, welcome back to the Big Three podcast. You already know what it is. So today we got a lot of news for you from NHL trades to trade rumors, and also some F1 stuff for those fans out there. With me, I have my good friend and co-host Brian Chow. How's it going?
not bad. What's up?
Not much, not much. And our special guest that's on here a hell of a lot, Ethan Elias. How's it going?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
All right. Okay, so let's get to it right away. We have a trade out of what's it called?
St. Louis.
Montreal and St. Louis. Yep. So Jake Allen and a 2022 seventh round pick to the Canadians for a third round pick from this draft, which is from Washington, and a seventh round pick in this draft, which is from Chicago. First thoughts, Ethan?
Well, I think it's a win-win for both teams, really. I think Jake Allen helps Montreal with that like backup situation that they were. It was okay, but when Price got injured, they had to switch around with the goalies a lot. So maybe they can use a little bit more of Jake Allen's presence.
Yeah, more
But the
leniency.
third round, Yeah, but the third round pick for St. Louis is also really good, as Montreal being a playoff team, but still a pretty good pick.
Yep. For me, I don't know. I feel like Lindgren could have got a lot better this year. He could have filled in
Mhm.
that backup role probably better than he did last year. So it, I don't know if the trade was exactly amazing for the Canadians, but like if
Yeah,
Allen can perform well and give Price a lot of rest, then it could definitely turn out well for them.
Yeah, I agree with
yeah, and I
Ethan
thought
here.
Ling,
Go ahead, Ethan.
yeah, and I thought Lindgren was a little bit struggling this year. Obviously, he was 2-4, which is not ideal for a goalie. Obviously, like not winning more than half your games, but his save percentage was 0.888, and goals allowed average was 3.33. So, a kind of rough season for him this year.
Yeah, again, going back to Ethan's point, rough year for Lindgren. So I guess obviously he's still a young goaltender, right? So like we don't know how he's gonna do next year. They're gonna play him some games, most likely, obviously. But I think this just gives Montreal more leniency, like more options, right? Just in case Lindgren doesn't perform as well next year. Obviously, he's a young goalie, needs a lot of time to develop and stuff. And I think this is a good trade for both sides, right? Because St. Louis clears the cap that they need to re-sign Pietrangelo possibly. And they get some nice draft picks in exchange too for Jake Allen. And Jake Allen's still on a pretty nice deal too, right? $2.2 million a year annually, so not bad. Solid
Yep.
trade.
Yep. It's a pretty fair trade. Yeah. So in terms of like the value going each way, it was pretty fair. S-
Yeah.
So uh, this pretty one's on trade. So let's move on. What did we have next? We had some trade rumors. So first off, which one do we want to talk about?
Up to you. Starting the
Some
show.
more Leaf stuff.
Sure, that
All right.
works.
Sure.
So some more Leaf stuff. Yeah. So once again, it seems a lot more and more likely that Anderson isn't going to be a Leaf next year, which is pretty sad. I
Unfortunate.
think. Yeah, I think it really sucks. They're getting a lot of offers for him, which I mean, he's a Vezina goaltender. You'd expect that. But I really like the Leafs for I'd really like for the Leafs to be able to keep him. But like we've been on about this for a long time, so we'll move on to something else. Um, it looks like the Sabres and Penguins have been talking about Jared McCann and Matt Murray, which I mean that was expected. We were hearing a lot of those rumors that it might happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if a trade happens there. What do you guys think about that?
No, Matt Murray's got to go though, so I wouldn't be surprised. Um, yeah, it's just especially this makes a lot of sense with Buffalo too, right? Because they're trying to quote unquote contend because they think they have a quote unquote contending roster. But I can definitely see this happening, right? With just like the situation in Buffalo, they really need a goalie. Get some time for what's it called, Lekanen to develop. Maybe like a bridge goalie. Matt Murray's a good fit there in my opinion. And who knows? Maybe like again, he needs to change its scenery, right? And Pittsburgh has Tristan Jarry. They get a nice player in return. Sorry, I think not a bad deal for both sides.
Yep, Ethan.
Yeah, another rumor was to Carolina actually. So Carolina, they were
Oh yeah.
thinking of trading maybe for a Carolina defenseman, like someone like Dougie Hamilton, maybe. That's what they were saying. Which I also think would be an okay trade for the Leafs. Obviously, it might be hard to get back a goalie, especially with Reimer there, and obviously you would have to take Mrazek, which is a big price to pay. Maybe you have to give more than Anderson if you're getting back a defender. So we'll see if they're trading with Carolina. I don't know if they'll be able to get a goalie back, but a defenseman would really help the team.
No, I think Dubas
All
or
right.
not Dubas, but I think a rep from the Leafs or something in the news. They came out and said they're not trading Anderson unless they're getting a true top four defenseman. I don't think they're going to be able to trade him for a goalie because what's the point of
Mhm.
Yeah.
that, right? So
Yeah.
like I think they're just going to go out trade Anderson for if anything trade him for a true top four defenseman to a team that really needs it. I think Carolina's a good fit, right? Because they're so solid everywhere else.
Mhm.
Like they have so many true top four D man that they wouldn't mind giving up, right? Like who do they
Mhm.
have on there? They have Jake Gardner. The return's not enough, but like throw in another couple picks or something like that. You got Brady Shea, close to Dougie Hamilton, as Ethan said. Um,
Slavin,
Slavin, yeah. You have Brett Pesce that could develop. Jake Bean,
Vatanen,
Vatten. Like that team's
Flurry.
loaded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lot of players there, so yeah, you could definitely see because the Hurricanes they just need one thing, and
They
that's a
just need
goalie.
one. They need one goalie, and they're a true Stanley Cup contender. They're that good, but people just don't seem to realize that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
I
and
can definitely see that happening.
you know what? One thing we forgot. I think we got to talk about this a bit. Oscar Lindbaum finally back after that cancer
Mhm.
treatment.
Oh, oh
Uh,
yeah,
absolutely,
unbelievable.
yeah, absolutely amazing. What's it called? Moment.
Yeah,
So he hasn't.
that was hard. That was touching.
Yeah, he's been out since like December, and it's amazing to see
Yeah,
that he can get back on the ice and he's all fine. And he obviously he's been doing a lot of work with the other kids and stuff who've had cancer because
Yeah,
he doesn't want people to go through what he did, and it's just a great moment.
yeah, for
yeah, for
sure.
sure.
All right, so let's move on. We got another one. How about the Patrick Laine trade rumors?
That's
Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting. It's Ehlers and Line, right? From
I
Minnesota,
haven't heard anything about Ehlers, but definitely Line A because
for sure. Line.
The Hurricanes are looking into into that because the Jets seem to be asking Brett Pesce, Vincent Trocheck, and like even more on top of that, which I mean you'd expect. Line A's a star player, so it'd be a huge move if that happened. What do you guys
It
think?
would be a huge move, but I think for what you're getting, that wouldn't be that bad, right? Because you have a boatload of great defensemen with good upside too. So like you give up a Pesce, you give up Trocheck, who's getting up there in age anyways. I think throw in a couple picks, maybe the 13th pick, right? Because you
Yeah.
can afford to give up. You can afford to give up another top four D man for Freddie. So you give up what? Where are they slotted? 13, I think,
Um.
something like
Uh,
that. Around
something.
that
Yeah.
area, 13 Pesce and Trocheck, maybe like a third round pick and a future second or third or another, maybe even another first. I think that can get the job done. And then you come in, you bring in Freddie Anderson. Like that makes your whole team so much better, right? Like maybe you throw in a Jake Bean for a Freddie Anderson or something like that.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Yeah, the Canes, if they can make a splash this offseason, they are
Man,
a
they're gonna be
true contender. Yeah,
they're gonna be scary, and they're young too.
yeah, they're still
They're
young.
super young, right? Because all of a sudden you bring in Patrick Laine. Now you have a core of Sebastian Aho, You have Svechnikov. You have now you have Patrick Laine, obviously Dougie Hamilton, um, Tara Vinen. People seem to forget about, right? And then you still have your mix of what's it called, veterans like Shea. You have Vatanen, Slovin, Gardner, right? So like, and you still have Martin Nakash too, who's really young. So like that team's built, man.
Yep. All right. How about we move on to another rumor? The what's it called? The Senators, they're looking to get Matt Domi from the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh really? I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So I mean, it would make sense because Max Domi is obviously a skilled player. He hasn't performed as well as we'd all expect him to, but
Yeah.
a change of scenery could maybe help him playing with other young skilled players like maybe Anthony Duclair, that kind of thing. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if it happened to be I think it would work out for both teams depending on what Montreal got back. What do you guys think, Ethan?
Yeah, I think Domi could fit on Ottawa. I think Ottawa needs some more like structured offense, like someone like Domi who could really help out the young guys and especially add to their young offensive like core. He could be definitely like a player for them that in the future that could lead them. I think for sure. And I see, but I would think Ottawa would have to give up quite a bit for Domi. So that's the only problem I see with that trade going through.
Yep. Brian?
I agree with Ethan, right? Because obviously, we all know Domi has upside here, but I don't. I don't think they'd be willing to give up too much, right? Because obviously Ottawa, yeah, they're gonna have two nice pieces coming in, and like if they don't blow their second round pick, they'll have three. But I don't think they're still I think 2, 3, 4, even 4 years out from contending right now. So yeah, I don't. This doesn't really make any sense to me. If they depends what they're giving up, but if they give up
Mhm.
any picks or like young players or young assets, it doesn't make any sense to me.
All
Yeah, I
right.
feel like you would have to give up someone like Duclair, and like that doesn't like make sense because they've already been shipped around so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So another rumor, or actually, I don't know, because this is I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but oh wait, never mind. Fourth overall pick in 2016. Never mind. I don't know why they reported that. Um. All right. So people are. What's his name? Jim Rutherford, who we saw make a splash, I guess, not that long ago. Yeah. He says he's willing to trade Evgeny Malkin.
Ay, ay,
So
ay.
I mean, I don't know exactly what you'd get back from Malkin. He's obviously he's just a really good player, but I don't know if players, if
The most overshadowed player in the whole league.
yeah, he's so underrated. He's definitely a top 100 player ever, but he didn't get that in that
He's a top
ranking.
5 player in the league right now.
Yeah, I know. So
Mm.
I mean, it take a lot to get him, and I don't know Rutherford all about his fair, good hockey deals. I don't know if he'd get back enough in return. So,
Yeah,
all
Mm,
right,
I mean
definitely
taking
wouldn't.
Malkin like a franchise player is a big risk, anyways, right?
yeah, that is true. Okay, um, I from what I can see, those are the pretty. Those are like
Big deals.
the
Big
big
rumors.
rumors. So how about we move on to F1? I know that this isn't exactly Brian's thing, but we're just gonna do a
I still stick around though. You guys steal the show here.
all right. Then so we are gonna do a quick review of the Belgian Grand Prix. I know that was a while ago, so but I think the main things were Ferrari really underperformed, Racing Point kind of underperformed, Renault was absolutely amazing. The Red Bulls were actually were a bit better, especially Albon. And other than that, not much. What do you think, Ethan?
I think the same old, especially with the Mercedes. The Ferrari's doing really bad. I thought they would perform better, but apparently not. And obviously, other than that, it was pretty much basic. Obviously, Renault doing really great on this track, and they really performed well.
Yep. So I think we move on to the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. So Monza, it is the most low downforce track on the whole calendar. You're gonna see cars flying around. They're gonna be at full throttle for. I think it's the longest out of any track um in the on the calendar. So yeah, they're gonna be moving really fast. I mean, we expected Renault to be good on this track even better actually than they were in Belgium. It doesn't actually look like it is that way. I don't know why. At Ocon and Ricardo, they dropped their pace a lot compared to Belgium. I don't know exactly what happened. You got any ideas, Ethan?
No.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I don't know I don't know what happened to Renault there. I didn't expect them to change anything at all, but they
Yeah.
did, and it obviously backfired. Ferraris, they are absolutely horrible again. Vettel was P19 in free practice on one of them. I don't know if it was one or two. So,
It was two. Or
oh,
wait,
two.
it was yeah, it was two. One.
Okay, one. Yeah. So that is not good at all. Uh, McLarens, they were good. Red Bull, they weren't as good. Um,
Mhm.
Albon was okay. Verstappen definitely dropped his pace. The racing points were a bit better. I don't know why, but Stroll seemed to be doing a lot of a qualifying flying laps on mediums. So I don't know
Mhm.
exactly what to expect there, but I mean it is Monza, so having the harder tire isn't exactly the worst thing. So what do you think about that, Ethan?
Yeah, I think Stroll definitely he was on the mediums, but I think he did do pretty good. Obviously, free practice one wasn't as great, but free practice two he did come out there and he did do some really pretty good times going up eighth.
Yeah, I think people are because Checo. You obviously had that part where he had COVID, but I mean, now they should be back up to their full forms, and sorry, Checo should be back up to his full form, and Stroll has been consistently actually so far this season outperforming Perez, and fact that he is younger, um, obviously he's the son. You think
Mhm.
he keeps his spot next year?
I think he should at least. I know Perez is what people may want him to stay, but obviously Stroll is making a statement this year. He really wants to stay on this team. He wants to make a difference, and he's really making a statement and making his case for the number one driver spot or number two. I don't think it would be a number two even if Vettel came. But he's really making his case.
Yep. But I mean, it's definitely a possibility that they keep the same lineup. Because I
Mhm.
mean, Stroll, he's that kind of guy where I think Racing Point finally understands that, where they just like they don't even try tell him to conserve, try to do a one stop anymore. They just tell him push all out. You can do a two stop. His laps are absolutely amazing every single time. Um, but Checo, he is the one of the best tire managers ever in F1. So they try to put him on a one stop, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But like with that, with those two completely different drivers, I think they have a pretty good amount of diversity there. Where if one driver isn't doing so well, the other one definitely is because it's on a completely different strategy. So I don't know. I feel like they could definitely keep him, even though Vettel is obviously such a good driver.
Yeah. And also one more thing in the free practices, another not surprised, but obviously he did good in Belgian Grand Prix as well. Pierre Gasly also did really good, coming
Yeah,
out
that
fourth in free practice
yeah
too,
the
which
Alpha.
was
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, the Alpha Tower has been pretty good. Denny Kvyat is also he pushed up into the top 10. Obviously Gasly was absolutely amazing, like he's been all year. But yep, that is definitely a good thing to point out.
Yeah.
And the next thing I think is the biggest news. Sadly, I think is it's end of an era.
Mhm.
Williams, the family-owned team that's been around for over 40 years, finally been sold. I mean, you just got to feel for Frank and Claire Williams. Uh, they've they've nursed that team. They kept it for a long time, and Claire obviously grew up in it. Uh, it must be hard for them having to give it up. So
Yeah, they
yep.
were great people too. Like I think they really like led this example, and they like all the players loved them. Like they've been sending out tributes and sending a bunch of love to them to social media and stuff like that. And they really made a big impact on the F1 community and F1 in general.
Yeah, and you know what? You heard George Russell, Nicholas Latifi. They said that they Williams helped them, you know, start in F1. They got them into the sport and like be able to realize their dream. It's the same with Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, which is he's driving the best car ever made. Um, Jack Villeneuve, so many great drivers raced here, started their careers here. I think it. They've been such a big part of F1, and it's really sad to see them go. This is obviously the last race. You would hope that either Latifi or Russell can step up and get those points, send them off the right way.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian, you got anything else?
That should be all today.
Ethan, you got anything else?
No.
All right. So, thanks for coming out once again to listen. The first video, it's done absolutely amazing. Way more than we'd ever expect at this point. 120 views the last time I checked. So, I mean, Brian said this a lot. This podcast, it's a kind of a dream for us. We'd absolutely love for it to work out. Brian?
Yeah, that's just again, like thank you guys so much for all the support and love that we've been garnering. Um, like it really means a lot, right? It just, especially for new guys like us just coming off the block, we're pretty much nobodies, but we've garnered quite a bit of support. So yeah, hopefully we can keep it up. Show that love to the other videos and episodes too.
Yep.
But yeah, again, just thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. So, from us three, and at the Big Three podcast, have a good day.
Thank you.